Hello everyone and welcome to a new section in our TechNation show. Hello Keith.
Hi James. I think this is called the web digest of our section, of our station.
As our keen followers have noticed, we have started like a special section on our Facebook page, which is 30-second shorts presenting the latest in technology news and small bite-sized 30-second tidbits, and in these visual web digests we're gonna go through them and give some more detail about the shorts that we have published during the week.
Welcome to TechNation.
Funny, but sometimes mentally unstable.
Keith, our first item for today is the short that we published about Elon Musk's GigaFactory. Elon Musk, as you know, was the owner of PayPal, then he sold it, then he failed a couple of companies. Now he's popular as the CEO for two very large companies, which one is Tesla Motor Company, which is the luxury all-electric vehicles, and the other one is SpaceX, the largest commercial space agency.
If I'm not mistaken, is the company who managed to launch a rocket and landed back on a barge, basically.
Yes, and landed back on a barge. Elon is turning his attention to energy production now with this GigaFactory. By the way, GigaFactory, when we say GigaFactory, it's a GigaFactory. It's massive. It's only, by volumetric size, it's only second to the Boeing factory. And basically, for those who are watching us, it has the same volumetric area of our capital city, Valletta.
That's true.
That's how big it is. Basically, Keith, what is interesting is, with the capacity, with the production capacity of this factory, now, first of all, what is this factory going to produce? Power. Batteries. Lithium-ion batteries. Now, obviously, this uses producing the batteries without charging them. Now, what is interesting is that this factory is a net zero energy factory, meaning that all its power, both for production and both for charging the batteries that is going to produce, by renewable energy.
Everything is renewable in the production of every battery and its charging.
Yes. Basically, the whole area is basically a solar farm where they're using solar energy to produce these batteries. What is very interesting, Keith, is this factory is so large that it's basically going to double the entire planet's lithium-ion production. For those of you who have never seen a lithium-ion battery, it's very easy. Just take off the cover of your mobile and that battery inside, it's a lithium-ion cell. It's a lithium-ion battery.
The type of technology in the battery, basically.
Yes. Mm-hmm. These are the batteries that they use as well for electric vehicles. Obviously, they use them for electric vehicles because one, they're light.
They're very light,
and they're very, very safe. They don't need liquids inside or whatever, so they're very safe.
Supposedly, they can be charged many number of times without deteriorating the battery so quickly.
Now, as you know, Keith, a big expense of owning an electric vehicle, or part of the expense of actually building an electric vehicle, is the batteries, because as we said, this factory in 1 year is going to produce as much as the entire planet's production of lithium-ion cells. Now that obviously will mean that it will bring down the cost of electric vehicles. In fact, Tesla just released a €35,000 all-electric model, which is a new one, which is the Model 3.
Which is the most affordable of the range.
Which is basing its price on the production of the GigaFactory, because the GigaFactory is already built. Yes, it's built and it's producing as we speak. This means that the final goal will be that electric vehicles become more affordable.
It's interesting how Elon Musk has planned this much before. I mean, it was in his master plan. One can also see it in his website that he had the goal of starting up with a high luxury electric vehicle, building up capital, then managed to take the production to a more affordable car, and with the income and the capital gained from his enterprise with Tesla cars, go to the next step, which was always in his plans, which is production of batteries and power in a renewable way.
What is also interesting, Keith, is that although it's a €35,000 model, I was expecting that it's going to be basically a cart on wheels and an electric vehicle, because that's Prius,
basically.
Another Prius, basically, without
but it's a functional way to see it.
Yes. No, it's going to be as well a luxury vehicle which is attainable to all. Obviously, they still have the Roadster and the Tesla S.
We're talking about all electric. It's not a hybrid.
It's an all electric vehicle. Tesla only produces all electric vehicles. So now Tesla, they have the Roadster, which I don't even know if they're doing anymore or not. But their flagship with three models is the Model S, which is the high-end luxury vehicle, which costs about 110,000 euros. The Model X, which is like a crossover, which is like an off-roader, sort of. It's not an off-roader, but that's what it looks like. It has really, really cool doors. But did you see the back doors, the Falcon doors?
Yeah.
We're seeing the Falcon doors right now of the Model X, and now they have the Model 3. Keith, for sure, we need to keep an eye on this, and hopefully, in the very near future, we'll be able to afford an electric vehicle and say goodbye to this polluting fuel that we use every day for our work.
Where it makes so much sense.
The human has been neutralized.
So James, for our next item, we're going to have a look at a new development in this space race back to the moon.
I don't know about you, but for me it was a very big surprise because NASA has been saying for ages that they are literally uninterested in going back to the moon.
It seems that they had a good offer to collaborate.
They had an offer which they couldn't refuse.
Yes.
And I have an offer and they can't refuse.
Basically, it came from Russia.
Yes, believe it or not.
And the intention is that working together, NASA will provide the technology, while the Russians will provide the launching.
Yes, and I already know how that conversation went. Hello, NASA. I need your rocket. You give me a rocket, I go to moon. I go to moon, you can come with us.
Something on those lines.
No, something basically NASA has repeatedly said that it is literally uninterested in going back to the moon. However, they said if someone else is leading the project, so if the project is led by Roscosmos or whatever, because Roscosmos is the Russian agency, they are interested in going back because they can test some equipment which they're working on for Mars. So basically, the Americans, NASA, they're gonna use it as a test bed for some equipment they're developing for Mars. Russia, they have obviously their own interest for going to the moon, which for now they're not really clear, to be completely honest. And they basically said, listen, we need NASA to go to the moon because they have the Space Launch System, the SLS rockets. We need them anyways. Might as well. And NASA said, listen, if we're going to give the SLS so they can use it, might as well get a ride, get some of our new toys on, and might as well test them out in the vacuum of space on the moon, at least before testing them out on Mars.
It's cool to get a ride to the moon, obviously.
I accept rides to the moon as well.
Recently, James, there has been a decline in interest, even when there was the space program from people broadcasting directly from space. You will see a decline in interest from people, from the general public, to even engage with what's going on in the space exploration.
Yes, I mean, one of my personal heroes is Chris Hadfield, the Canadian astronaut that commanded the ISS for some time last year. Actually, last year or the year before, I don't even remember. Anyways, Chris Hadfield had like the biggest following ever because he was like the first one that really used social media to bring the audience with him to the International Space Station.
There's one more aspect though, James. You know about the conspiracy that actually the Americans never actually made it to the moon. We all have seen maybe.
I hope we're not going there.
Mythbusters, trying to bust that myth that they didn't. But it seems they're having another go.
To go back on the point we were discussing, basically NASA can afford now to look into another big project because, as you know, the International Space Station now is nearing its end. Basically, it's terminating its lifespan because in 2024. It's scheduled to crash into the ocean because, as you know, low Earth orbit objects, they decay, their orbit decays, and then finally they burn into the atmosphere and crash into the ocean or on Earth. So basically NASA can now afford to get involved into another big project. So hopefully I would be interested to see to see a live feed from the moon. So in 2024, if you're just in case fishing in the ocean, just be careful you don't get a head full of ISS on you.
The human has been neutralized.
Are you an Android man or an Apple man? Android. I'm Android as well. However, I have some sad news for the Apple fanboys out there. So, the story goes like this. There's been obviously a lot of gossip on the internet about the iPhone 7 and it's coming out in September, and there were a lot of complaints because the iPhone 7 looks exactly like the iPhone 6s, and actually it looks a bit worse in some ways. They made a bevel for the camera and somehow Apple fanboys were furious about this. However, now it's starting to make a bit of sense. Apparently, Apple decided that its phone products are going to go on a 3-year life cycle.
3 years?
Yes.
Not the usual 2 year?
No. So each model number, for example, 5, 6, 7, whatever, is going to stick around for 3 years. And basically they issue variations on that model.
I can see where that's coming also, because Apple would have the 10th anniversary soon for its iPhone.
Apparently now it makes sense because next year Apple has its 10th anniversary for its iPhone.
You cannot have an anniversary and not have a cake. So that would be the cake or the cherry on the cake for Apple's anniversary.
Mm-hmm. So basically what they're doing is this. There is a lot of gossip and there were some leaks as well, because leaks, you know where leaks are happening from? You'd be amazed. From the Chinese suppliers. The Chinese suppliers of the components, they are obviously working on this stuff before it comes to market, like the packaging.
Exactly.
And
all the peripheral things.
And they start leaking some stuff from the factories. So apparently for now, I'm sorry, Apple fanboys, for you is going to be in September iPhone 6S E and 6SE Plus, and you're going to have to wait for 2017 to get the iPhone 7, which is going to be the 10th anniversary phone. However, and I have to say however, if the iPhone 7 is as good as the ones in the leaked pictures, it should be one to look out for. It's going to have the improved cameras, dual cameras, 3D stereoscopic cameras, with apparently modular design. They were also talking about quad cams, so 4 lenses for 4 cameras in the back. But however, I do think they're going for a stereoscopic view, because they've been saying this for quite some years now. And the LCD, the TFT, which covers the whole surface of the phone, including the surrounds next to the famous home button. Mm-hmm. So, in my opinion, it would be one to look out for. I hope, as usual, that Apple do not try to squeeze every dollar out of their product and actually go for something which actually is a good phone.
The human has been neutralized.
Okay, James, for our next item, we're going to put our attention back to our homeland.
Yes, let's be patriotic.
Yeah, basically, very soon we're going to have the launch of the first Maltese interactive science center, the Esplora Science Center. It's in Kalkara. Mm-hmm. We've been lucky enough to have a visit recently, and we have seen also the works in progress, which are looking really good. What were your thoughts about it, James?
Let's start from here. We had a behind-the-scenes look. At the moment, it still looks like a construction site, to be completely honest, but I was amazed at the recent progress that they made. And I'm telling you, this place is amazing. I cannot wait for it to open. I had my doubts, to be completely honest. If I have to be critical of myself, I had my serious doubts about the achievability of such a project in Malta. However, I'm telling you, man, they pulled it off, and they pulled it off really, really well.
Because it's not just about building a new premises. This was also a restoration project.
Yes.
We had a dilapidated
First of all, it's
building.
massive. I had no idea that BE is so big. I mean, it's amazing.
The place,
it's
apart
huge.
from being an old historic hospital as well, also including also the Villa Bigi there, includes a number of premises, one of which will house also the planetarium.
Oh, the famous planetarium, yes. Now we're seeing the picture of the planetarium. Believe it or not, the planetarium is hanging in space.
Exactly,
it's not attached to anything.
The sphere there is actually
hanging by a huge board.
It's levitated from the floor.
Mm-hmm.
We also were lucky enough to visit inside the planetarium.
Yes, we had some pictures which is still under wraps at the moment. It's like a top secret thing, but we're telling you we viewed the some of the interactive. What do you call them? Stations.
Interactive
exhibits. That's it. And I'm telling you, there's a lot to do. There's areas for any age group. There's areas for adults. There's areas for children. There's areas for toddlers as well. They have exhibits about every phenomenon, physical phenomenon, and space. And obviously, the piece de resistance, as we say, is the famous planetarium, which I'm telling you is amazing. I cannot wait, Keith. With the amount of lighting we saw in there, I cannot wait for the first opening day to see it lit up, that place. So I'm telling
you, it's really awesome. Also, they have a good animation team, so they're really working hard on preparing also a nice experience for the visitor.
Also, if you want your wedding there, they're accepting bookings already.
That's true.
Because it's almost fully booked already. No, the place is amazing. It has amazing views of the harbor, of Valletta. It's incredible. As I'm telling you, I am sorry because I made a mistake. I had my doubts about how successful this thing is going to be. But Keith, I think you agree with me. It's mind blown, completely amazing.
It's incredible. No, true.
Keith, this goes without saying that we would like to thank MCST for all of this.
I personally congratulate them on this big effort that's been going on.
Yes, the Esplora the project is headed by MCST, the Malta Council for Science and Technology, which is within the Ministry of Education and Employment. And obviously, we thank Elton for giving us the tour and helping us in our endeavors and our everyday work. This is everything for this week for our web digest. As we say, we're going to have one of these every week to go into some more detail about the shorts that we...
Yes, keep on the lookout for our shorts, which will basically be a teaser of what we're going to discuss in this digest.
And it's important to share, like and subscribe on our videos. It will help us a lot. At the moment, we're trying to grow our viewership, hence the change to an English language. You will find all the information in the description below. And join us on Facebook, on facebook.com/TechNation Show, and twitter.com/TechNation Show, and on YouTube. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Let's start from here. We had a back... I didn't get to see it.
Maybe you catch a space station. You never know.
Catch a space station. Twisted is what catch a space station. Bye-bye.
God. Unless you're interested, and you go for it.
Unless you're interested, and go for it. You understand?